Aston Villa's search for forward players might have spearheaded us back in a way that only Aston Villa and an Unai Emery team can. You know, it's been the history of the Villa with Unai Emery is that we pretty much just get linked with the same 3 or 4 players over and over again. I don't think anyone will ever forget the Joao Felix saga. Every other window we were linked with him. But how about another one of Unai Emery's favourite sons? You've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. Nicholas Jackson heavily linked with a loan move to Aston Villa with an obligation to buy him at the end of the season. So we're going to be looking through his stats last year, his stats overall in his career, looking at a video of him, seeing how he plays. You know, we have to assess these things. Would he fit into an Unai Emery system? Who does he replace? I don't think he goes up front in place of Ollie Watkins, so can he play in other positions? Looking at all that good stuff, analysing that, would it be a good deal for Villa going forward to have Nicholas Jackson at the club? Before we get into that, code is up there. That's my FPL. Join the Rogers Reports Classic FPL League on that code, on your apps. Can we get to 20 people in the FPL? Go on, go and do it. Also, leave a like, subscribe down below if you are new for more. Like, share the video around and comment what are your thoughts on the Nicholas Jackson rumours. These are the rumours that seem to be persisting, the ones that are getting picked up by the big boys, the one that could come to fruition. But let's have a look how he performed for Chelsea last year. The story between him and Chelsea, as Fabrizio Romano said very dramatically, Nicholas Jackson and Chelsea is over. It's done. He's not playing there again. Will Villa be the ones to swoop in? What are we getting? Let's have a look. Here you have it. Nicholas Jackson, only 24 years of age, and only just turned 24 as well. For some reason, I thought he was 25, 26, but still actually a really, really young player. Primarily plays, as it says here, up front in that striker position. A market value of £65.2 million as well. 10 goals and 5 assists in just the 28 starts, 30 games overall for Chelsea last season. A 7.05 average match rating, 7 yellows and 1 red. Does have a little bit of a temper. If we look at his seasonal stats over here, you will see Villarreal 21-22 and 22-23. This was his breakout season for Villarreal. It also happens to be the season that Unai Emery left Villarreal after giving Nicholas Jackson his big break and came to Aston Villa. And Nicholas Jackson has been very vocal in saying how much he owes to Unai Emery for giving him that massive break, that massive opportunity when he was just 20, 21 years of age to break into that Villarreal side. And Unai Emery has reciprocated the liking that he does have for Jackson. And when he did let Jackson break through, 26 games, 12 goals and 4 assists later, he managed to get that big money move to Chelsea. Last season, done all right. 14 goals in 15. That was season before. Last season, like I say, the 10 in 30. So fell off ever so slightly in that as well. If we go down here, we're not going to worry about his FIFA Club World Cup stats because no one cares, quite frankly, FIFA. Look at his stats though. These are his total stats last season against other players in the Premier League, and the 10 goals puts him in okay stead. Still in the top 72nd percentile for that. Only underperformed his XG by about 2.3, so not the worst in the world. Non-penalty XG as well makes up a total of that. Doesn't take penalties, something I think Villa do need. But also did get the 5 assists, which is actually in the top 10th percentile for his position in the Premier League. So that isn't too bad, and outperformed his expected assist by about 3, which is really, really good. The pass accuracy leaves something to be desired, 76.7%, but actually his long ball accuracy and his cross accuracy, pretty good indeed. His 18 successful dribbles puts him in the top 20th percentile, as well as touches in the opposition box. And then actually won a decent amount of tackles as well, to be fair. Puts him in the top 15th percent. Won 60% of those, 38% of his duels and 38% of his aerials. Winning possession back in the final third in the top 12th percentile as well. The per 90s for the Premier League, again, don't paint him in the best light, to be fair. We're looking at his per 90s in all competitions against Europe's top 5 leagues. And it paints an interesting picture, let's put it that way. As you can see, if I move out the way, that would help, wouldn't it? It's actually not too bad. It is, to steal maybe a phrase of Stevie Wonder, a sea of green. And is that what he said? It might have actually been what he said. Comment below, I don't know. But his actual non-penalty goals put him in the top 65th percentile. Non-penalty XG put him in the top 20th percentile. So he's creating those chances, and this is against forwards. His shots and assists both in that top 20th percentile category. His expected assists in the top 20th, and only 18% of players had a better non-penalty XG and expected assisted goals than Nicholas Jackson. He was also in the top 3/4 of shot creating actions for his teammates. The passes attempted does leave something to be decided, but actually it's progressive carries, so how much he is getting his team up the pitch when he has the ball at his feet is very, very good. 82nd percentile. That pass completion in the top 85th for forwards as well over the last 365 days. And his tackles are pretty high as well. But we do have Ollie Watkins in that position. We're going to be looking at the team in a little while. Can he play anywhere else? Transfer marked. Give me the answer. And to an extent, yes, obviously, a majority of his games in his career have come in that centre-forward role. If you do watch him play, and we're going to be watching the highlights of him very, very soon, you'll know he does drift out wide naturally, and he has played on both the left-hand and right-hand side of the attack, as well as in that shadow striker role. So let's watch some highlights of him, and then see where he'd fit into this team. And thanks to Ed Football for these clips. And here is Jackson again, dropping in a little bit deeper. I'm seeing 10 potential here, you know what I mean, to pick up the ball. And there he is with the ball at his feet. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what he can do with the ball at his feet, to be fair. You can see that natural talent, but dropping in, picking up those good pockets of possession. Here again, he is dropping a little bit deeper. Has like a couple of men in front of him. And again, that type of hold-up play is the type of hold-up play we've all wanted to see from Ollie Watkins for a little while, but we haven't in the last season or so. But again, a lot of these clips, he is dropping a little bit deeper, picking the ball up, nice, getting on the ball nice and early, and making things happen. His touches are very, very good on the ball. Very, very neat, very, very tidy, good first touch. Here he is on the ball, great finish over the goalkeeper into the top right-hand corner there. And he does have that natural finishing ability. Obviously, he is a striker first and foremost. Here he is, one-on-one against his man, shifts the ball to the outside. And to beat the goalkeeper at that angle is very impressive indeed. And that's just a little shift of the body. I mean, fair enough, it is against Sheffield United. I think that would have been last season. It wasn't hard to score against them. Lovely little bit of link-up play there. And then going down the wing here, we're going to see something that I think is very, very interesting. His ability to play down the wing and get those goals. I don't think we have a Villa winger that can do that. I'm not sure we have a Villa winger that can do that right now, as it stands right now. I don't see Rodgers doing that. I don't see McGinn doing that. Marlon, yes, if he gets the time to play. But Willie, and here he is again, picking the ball nice and deep, winning a foul there against the Arsenal. And then a good, neat finish at the near post to finish us off. They're clearly a fan. That's the signal to then end this highlight clip, I think. And here on screen we have Villa's most recent XI in the Premier League. Now, where does Jackson fit in? Well, I don't think that Ollie Watkins is going to be dropped. I don't foresee that happening. And I don't think you bring in Nicholas Jackson for the wages that he's going to be on, for the reported loan fee that we're going to get into in a little bit as well, to sit on the bench and play second fiddle to Ollie Watkins. So that really moves us in to this three who play in behind him. Now, I like Tielemans dropping deeper. I like Tielemans in the 10. I also really like Kamara, and I really like Onana in there. But I feel like we might be leaning towards Onana possibly dropping to the bench. Again, I don't know, will we or not. I think he's been playing really, really well. And that frees up that Tielemans role. I think Emery likes Tielemans and Kamara as a two, because Tielemans does offer a range of passing and ability on the ball that Onana just doesn't quite have right now, to free us up and set us up for those quick counter-attacks that Villa like to do. Now, as much as I love John McGinn, I think John McGinn is fantastic. He brings a lot to the team. I just don't want to see him starting out wide. So I think he could probably come out as well. Now, as for Morgan Rogers, I have to assume that we see Morgan Rogers as a number 10. He's been woeful out on the wing for Villa for the last sort of 10 game weeks, pretty consistently going into the back end of last season as well. Performs really well in that number 10 role. Now that leaves a couple of options. We have Marlon, who I think is actually really, really good and probably what this team needs right now. A bit of directness and a bit of pace. But going off of pre-season, where he almost exclusively played up front, I think Marlon is our substitute striker for the foreseeable future. I think, considering we signed him off of his performances playing as an inside forward on the right-hand side for Nice, that Guasson is the right winger of choice for Emery. So I think that Jackson could fit in as part of that as a front four. What do you reckon? Comment below. I want to know. It's different, but it could work. Now, what about the intricacies of this deal? Well, the reported figures are a £10 million loan fee. So paying Chelsea £10 million just for the honour of having Nicholas Jackson on loan. Now, I don't know how many of his wages what percentage of his wages we will be paying. He's currently on £100,000 a week, which, to be fair, would put him earning about 40 grand below Donyell Marlon. We have obviously managed to move the likes of Leander Dendoncker, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, unfortunately, off of the wage bill. So there is probably a bit of wiggle room. I know we have to get it down. So maybe Chelsea might cover some of the wages. I don't know. But what's the obligation to buy going to be? I think if you're paying the premium of a £10 million loan fee, I would hope that obligation would be knocked down quite considerably. Yes, Jackson has a lot. I mean, he has one of those Chelsea contracts. He probably has about 16 years left on his contract. But if the obligation is 30 million plus the 10 million loan fee, if Emery really likes him, he gave him his break at Villarreal, the wages 100 isn't too bad considering. This could be one that works. But let me know what you think down below. Nicholas Jackson to Villa. Do you want him to be a villain?